Obviously, that's one of those nights. I thought we played as well as we possibly could, and we caught Murray State on a night when they weren't at their best. Tremendous respect for Coach Prohm and their staff and their team. They're really good and really well coached. And so I just thought we were that's our best version. Tonight that was our best version, and from a consistency standpoint, to do that for 40 minutes was the best we've been, and so obviously a building block, and now we get ready for we'll enjoy this tonight, and then we'll get ready for Valpo on Wednesday.
Coach, you guys played Murray State a couple weeks ago, and allowed them to score 82 points in Murray, and that was a 4 straight loss for you guys. If today was maybe like one of your best performances, was that maybe rock bottom, losing that game like that in Murray, and just as recent as 2 weeks ago for you guys?
Yeah, every loss sucks, so they're all rock bottom. But it's winning or misery at this stage. But yeah, no, we felt like leaving Murray that Murray State's a really good team, and if you let them do what they do best. I mean, we got pummeled in transition there. They gave up 19 points in trans. We gave up 14 offensive rebounds. We gave up 0 points in trans today. We gave up only 5 offensive rebounds. We obviously shot it poorly there, 5 for 30 from 3. We made 19 of them today, so that helps. But, this was a game where if we did shoot 5 for 30, which is possible in basketball is very fickle with shooting. If we shot 5 for 30 today, I believe we would have won anyway because of how locked in we were defensively. And we made some adjustments to the game plan from 2 weeks ago. Biggest one, obviously, was, putting Jew through on Moore, keeping him matched up because that's the head of the snake for them. And Julian had, I think, hands down his best game as a Sycamore. What he did defensively on Moore, but then, of course, 11 points, 9 assists, no turnovers, touch and pain, and the amount of energy and conditioning that takes to do it on both ends, what we asked him to do was pretty extraordinary, and he was amazing.
Would you say that a game like this sends a statement to the league when you guys can kind of the way you guys played initially? You get up 20, and then it's you guys are cruising by getting to the basket, moving the ball, and then as that second half unfolds, it just kind of gets out of hand. You start hitting threes,
yeah.
And that ultimately wasn't what got you there, but that ends up kind of salting away the win for you guys.
Yeah, I mean it's we've worked since June to play high stakes games in February. I mean that's we want to play for a championship, and whether you win by 43 or 3 or whatever, they all count the same. It's I wish it was like the Tour de France. You could carry them over to the next game, and we could just start with like a 25-point lead, but it doesn't work like that. But I do think the biggest thing that the message is sent is that. And we know this, like when we're consistent to our best version is really good. And we just, all year, we fought consistency, right? I mean, and I really think in the Drake second half, we kind of, battled through that, had a chance to win, obviously lose at the buzzer there. Came back here, beat a really good Northern Iowa team in a really tough game, and I thought, played a great second half there to get over the hump, and then kind of played a, it's kind of same deal, when you look at Evansville. This is the 4th straight second half that which has been a bugaboo for us. If you go back, I think we outscored Drake 17 the second half, outscored Northern Iowa 8 second half. I think it was 17 against Evansville and 31 tonight. Our second halves have been really good here the last 4, and that was an issue. Prior was consistency, sustaining it, playing deep in there, and I thought this was our best. I mean, we couldn't play any better. We played tonight, and I don't think Murray State certainly played their best because we're not 40 points better than Murray State at any stretch. But I think it does give our guys a belief. That's what games like today do. You're trying to create belief because we haven't had. And I think the only people that would know, I mean, probably myself and Sherrard would be, what I stepped into 22 months ago, right? I mean, this thing was, and that's no knock on the previous staff because they won games. They won 33 games the last 2 years. Those guys did a really good job, won a lot of games. But, this thing was gutted. It was gutted. And we had 2 players who combined to average 3 points a game on the whole roster. And, so what you're trying to do when you build something from scratch, and we're having to build it from scratch, one of the hardest things to generate inside your program is belief, real belief, and that's belief with your players, and belief with the fans, and belief people that hey, we're worthy of competing for championships. We're good enough to do this, because historically we've had pockets, but we've not had the year in, year out that other teams have had. So today was a big step forward in the belief inside that locker room, and hopefully with our fan base, that hey, when we're right, we're as good as anybody, and we're good enough to compete with anybody in this league. And I think we'll take that from today maybe more than anything.
That key timeout in the second half, like you just said, that's 4 straight games. Second half performance has been completely different than what we saw at Indiana State at the start of the year this year. Murray State's making a small run. You called that timeout before they could make the big one. Just what was the message to the guys? Because they came out of that timeout with their hair on fire, obviously.
Yeah, I was really mad, because I thought we had 3 straight really poor possessions. It's like we got up 19, and all of a sudden, Coop brought out the N1 mixtape. He was crossing people, doing, I don't know what he was doing, and he gets a jump ball. Voss takes a horrible shot. Henry takes a bad. I mean, it was like, all right, we're not going to do this, because that's what has been our tendency is to get up, play really well, and then say, okay, enough of that. Let me, and this is a group that, and there's nothing wrong with it. You have a lot of teams where guys can make individual plays and they can go out and do their own thing. That is not us. We cannot, when we play individually, we're terrible, because we just don't have the guys to go out and make individual plays. Teams like Murray State, you could put Brian Moore, Rob Perry in space. They can go do that. Bowen Bourne, Tucker DeVries, a lot of guys in the league that can go. We don't have anybody to do that. So for us, it's important that we stay together and play connected on the offensive end in particular, and we do what we do best. And I just told them at the time, I was like, I was like, you guys either get out and play, we share the ball, we move it, we stop this, or I'm going to just sit you and I'll put 5 new in, and we'll do it that way. But we're not doing this. And they came out and I thought responded great, and they cut it down, I think, to 14. And then we kind of stabilized, and we were able. And then we came out and Coop makes a 3 off great action, wide open, which he had, shot up, did whatever. And then, and Voss makes a 3, and we get the layup in transition. They're sharing the ball, and it's like right back to 22. They have to call timeout, and that kind of, was the separation. That kind of was the game right there, honestly, was our ability to take that from 14 to 22, and supposed to go from 14 to 8, where now it's game on, right? So.
Also, talked about it with you. It feels like the mental toughness of this team was called out a couple times. By us,
Yeah.
fans, you, coaching staff.
Deservedly so. Yeah.
But it seems like they've responded to that, especially here since, like you said, the Drake game. It feels like this team's proving, we are mentally tough enough to hang with this valley, and not just hang, but also be atop it. Yeah,
no, I think, that's, things are not fixed. I think, Hunter asked me this a while back. It was after a loss. Can't remember what it was. Talking about, we're 22 months in, right? So I got here, basically April 1st. And, things are not fixed. We were not mentally tough, and we were not a good second half team. Just like things weren't fixed, we were 6-0 in the league, or 9-1, right? Then we were 9-4. Then we were 6-0. Then we were 6-5, and so the thing is can you come in every day and get better and improve and grow? And that's the thing. When I talk about, I know people, they joke about whatever Kaizen, but at the end of the day, what that is the day you stop improving is the day you stop being good. And if you don't continually get better, if you're at the top, teams below you will catch you and pass you. If you're not at the top, you're never going to catch who's ahead of you. So it really doesn't make any sense to come in and work with anything other than growth and continual improvement, and focus on that, and then let the results take care of themselves. And I think the growth in terms of the mental toughness has been significant. And we put a lot of time into, trying to work with the psyche of this team as much as anything, because it's never been about, do we have the talent to compete? I've never doubted, last year I did, but, with this group, I've never doubted that, we have enough talent to win. Can we, do we have enough depth to win? Do we have enough? None of that. Everything that you would question with this group is really from the neck up. And so the work has been to try to, get them to understand how important it is to play every single possession, how important it is for them to lock in and be collaborative, be collective, and work collectively to generate shots, and how connected we have to be, and ultimately to find ways through in high level competition. It's about being connected and staying the course. And the strides have been significant, and I don't want to just name a couple guys, but I will say, Cavassier, Cam Henry took a lot of stuff. I'll say it nicely, and those guys they've made great strides in terms of how they're handling themselves, and those guys are, they want this team to be good. There's a lot of pride, a lot of competitiveness in the locker room, but Cavassier, Cam, Coop, all those guys, they want to set a foundation for Indiana State basketball and try to build something here. And they're competitive. Sometimes they, particularly those two, can cross the line, but they love to win, they love to compete, and they love this school. And and their growth in terms of how they're handling themselves, I think, has been the most significant, because when you talk about the mental toughness piece, they're the first two you start with. It's not just them, but the group collectively, and those two in particular have been fantastic for us.
You said it earlier, Jew probably had his best game, in uniform for you today, too.
Mm-hmm.
That's just kind of been status quo for Jew this season. And he obviously went through a little bit of a slump there a few
Mm-hmm.
weeks ago, but he's gotten himself right back to doing what he does best.
Yes.
Just how great of it is it to see, a guy like you said before that's proven like, hey,
Yeah.
not only do I belong on this team, I really belong being a starter, and I am the strongest person in the drink.
Yeah, I think, for him to have a day like today, we ask a lot out of Jew, and certainly when you look back at, Northern Iowa, I thought, his defense on Bowen Bourne, we put him through on Bourne, and what he did in the second half really swung the game, right? But he only scored 2 points. He didn't do anything offensively, but he didn't hurt us. But man, he guarded, and you have to expend so much. I mean, we're asking him to guard Brian Moore or Bowen Bourne. I mean, you're expending so much energy defensively, fighting through screens, and he was unreal. And then today, where when he's doing what he's doing, and he's putting his shoulders down, and he's the one guy we have who doesn't need help to touch the paint. He can beat